I am just answering a couple questions from the comment section on the Discovering Bandmate, the Easy Drummer video I did a little while ago. So this question comes from Luke Fenton. Basically, so when using bandmate to create a beat for a guitar file, will it adjust the beat to a song with changing beats per minute or out of time, or is it fixed to a single static beats per minute for the duration of the song, which you manually define? Which I replied that was a great question, because it really is. And it's actually something that I've been wondering myself. So thank you for bringing it up. So I'm going to test it out. Let me switch over to the old computer here. Start my screen recording. All right, so I did already kind of record a little riff. One guitar channel, I'll dump it down, and then we'll put it into bandmate and see what comes up. So what I did, just to clarify, so it's like 5/4 for 3 measures, 1 measure of 4/4, 5/4 for 3 measures, 1 measure of 5/4, 4/4, sorry. Then back to 5/4, and then the tempo change. So in 5/4, the tempo then changes to 160 beats per minute. So it starts at 120, jumps to 160 about 9 measures in. All right, so it's not gonna be long. I just kind of started jamming and was having a little fun. So it's not, like I said, not a wonderful riff, but if you want to hear it, here it is. So what I'm gonna do, instead of going to 5/4 after that little riff, I'm gonna leave it at 4/4 because I feel like it needs to. Not to get that picky, so I'll delete that. All right, and I feel like I was playing in 4/4 anyway, because for some reason mentally I thought it was 4/4. But so now let me see if it works. If not, I'll re-record that part. Yeah, it works. Yep, okay. So I was mentally playing in 4/4 anyway, so there we go. So all I gotta do now is dump this down. Easy Drummer 3 test. All right, and we'll put it on my desktop. We're bouncing. All right, Easy Drummer 3. Let's pop that open. Go to bandmate. Make the window a little smaller so I can fit. All right, Easy Drummer 3 test. Let's drop it in. Boop. See what we got. So it does estimate the tempo. So you do have to set it yourself because, well, we have a changing time signature, so this is gonna be kind of weird. It's so odd, but okay. Nope. It's so, it's like hurting my brain right now. Hold on. Can I turn off the click? There it is. Nope. All right, some weird things going on here. All right, first of all, so whatever you set it to in the beginning, like if I set it to 4/4, it would have stayed at 4/4. So what it does do, I should say, it analyzes the rhythm and then lines up the bass drum with the rhythm, even though the tempo and the time signature are different. So it did change time signatures, as you know. I changed it to 4/4 at the end. So what's annoying is that click is not 4/4. The click is in 5/4, but the bass drum hits are still following the rhythm, so that works. However, I feel like the hi-hat is sticking to the 5. It just sounds weird. It's just like a big mishmash of nonsense. At this moment, it's not letting me turn off the metronome, which is weird. Not that one. So this is rough. Yeah. So bandmate works great for simple, okay, one tempo, one time signature works. It should work pretty good. And like I said in my original video, and I still stand by it, it's a good source for coming up with ideas. I wouldn't like use bandmate and be like, this is it. And just, you could come up with a beat that's just like, yes, that's the beat. But I would still like take it apart. Like I wouldn't just use completely what they give you and then go with that. I would honestly just take pieces of what I like and then of course adjust and do what you got to do. This, however, just shows that if you're writing progressive rock music, where there's a lot of time signature changes and tempo changes and things like that, or anything at all that has different different tempos and different time signatures. That's what happens when you mix tempo and time signature. You get temperature. So if you're mixing those things, it's not going to follow it. So you would have to do it in pieces, which is even more annoying. If you're relying on bandmate to come up with your drum beats. I don't typically use it for that. Like I use it for ideas. Like if I have a cool riff and like, I can usually hear a drum beat in my head, but I like to see. So what I'll do is I'll put down my idea and then drop into bandmate to see if there's something different that it comes up with, and then you can use that either with the beat you came up with or in place of if you like it better, So that's really what I use it for. I just use it for another source of ideas. That's it. It's not my end all be all. When I start writing music, I don't just go right to bandmate and start writing. Although it does help, but I don't. I tend to just kind of, structure things on the guitar the way I normally do, and then I'll hear a drum beat in my head, or I'll just come up with something that follows the rhythm, and then I'll drop into bandmate to kind of mess around and see what it comes up with. 9 times out of 10, I don't even really use bandmate. What I end up using are the grooves, and I know I've said this before. I like the grooves. So what I'll do is I'll go into the tap to find and then kind of put in that rhythm like that I came up with. So, and then I'll tap to find that rhythm, and then it'll give me some close matches, and then I'll listen to a couple of them, and then usually like the first couple are pretty decent. So then I'll pull from one of them, and then I'll even go into that MIDI file, and if I need to make alterations to like drum fills and things like that to make it fit perfectly, that's what I'll do. So that's essentially what I do. So to answer your question, sorry to get long-winded on this. So to answer your question, Luke, basically, it does not change tempo with your recording. You have to physically do it. So unfortunately, but it was a great question, like I said, and a cool idea, and I figured would make a cool test to see if that would work. So, and I figured while I was in there, let me see about the time signatures as well, because that was something I'd wondered about. So the song started in 5/4. So if it was analyzing the time signature, it would have picked that up immediately, but it didn't. It asked me right away what time signature. So right there, it's asking you. So I put in 5/4, but it doesn't change for those measures that did change to 4/4. It stayed 5/4 through the whole thing. So, which is kind of annoying, but would be cool if you wrote the whole song in 5/4, that's fine. If you wrote the whole song in 7/8, you could do that too, and then you'd be fine. But for things that change mid-song, it's not going to adjust for you. You have to do that physically. All right, so basically what you would do down here in the song editor is you would use this little menu here. and switch to time signature editor. And you also have tempo editor, so you can change it within your song creation in Easy Drummer. It just doesn't automatically do it for you. So, all right. So then, like, if I wanted to change the time signature here, I did, and now I want to add another one. So all you do is when you go to time signature editor, it obviously changes to time signature here, and then you right click and then hit add, and it will add, and then you want to move it to where you want it to change, like right there. So I'm changing it back to 5/4, 5/4, boom. And then, so like I could drag the whole thing down and do it that way, but I don't know, that's not going to edit my beat. It'll edit everything in the song creator, but up here in the bandmate editor, it's not going to change it. So I don't think you can do that up here, which is unfortunate, but yeah. Cool that you can do it in song editor. It's just not as intuitive as I thought, but once you get the hang of it, it's probably not that difficult. Okay, so then my 8th measure, I'm going to add 4/4, and then it stays 4/4. So, all right. So, I mean, I could do that and then bring it down, and then the 9th measure, it changes tempo. So I go to tempo editor, and same thing here, and I guess you, oh, okay, double click, and then you can bring it up to wherever you need to bring it to. However, it is, as you can see, it looks like it's going to slowly increase the tempo as it goes. So I don't want to do that. Let's undo that. Can I undo that? Remove. Okay. If I want to change the tempo at like measure 29, I have to right click, click add, and then it gives me that. But again, if I want to, there, I have to double click to add a second, otherwise it'll gradually change the tempo from measure 9 to measure 29 to get to that speed. And that's fine if you're like gradually speeding up from measure 28 to 29 to get to that tempo, then that works fine. But if you're not, you need to add 2 points, and then so that one stays and then the other one adjusts, and then when it gets to measure 29, it just jumps. So like I'll slow down from here. Oh yeah, did you hear that? Yeah, it's good. There's no click, so there you go. So like, yeah, so if I do that, 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2, so that, I mean, that works. So yeah, if I was to do, let's say it was 160, so I'd add a dot there. Why? Why are you like this? There we go. Okay. So, and then I wanted to drop it down, just have the one measure, like slow down. That's kind of cool, actually. I like that. That I like, but that's just, even still, it's kind of weird. It really does like leave for a lot of error and whatever. So, all right. So I hope that answers, well, I know it answered your question. However, I hope you also learned something new from it, because like whenever I play around with stuff like this and I have a question and I want to test something out, I usually do end up learning a lot of things. It's not stuff that like I said, I would use, like I wouldn't depend on Easy Drummer to put my songs together. If you do, that's fine. It works and it's doable. It's just not as intuitive as I want it to be. Like I said, I don't know if there's another window or something I'm missing where I could, yeah, MIDI suggestions, where I could pop it up and have it do, show me all the tempos. Like in Logic, how on the side there's the whole list, and then you can click and literally just simply add it and things like that. I do like how you can have the tempo like change over time, but you can do that in Logic too. So it's, honestly, I do all my writing in Logic. It's easier. I'll use the Easy Drummer in Logic. I'll drag in the MIDI files that from Easy Drummer into Logic. That works no problem. However, like you saw, it's really difficult to, you can't drag in the audio to Easy Drummer in Logic. Yeah, so that's about it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope I was helpful. That's really my goal, is to be helpful. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Have a great day, everybody. See you guys soon.